back to Nomads Refuge, boy. Episode 2. And I think today we're going to be talking about the act of creation, of creativity.
To me, this is a playground for us to throw everything on the table and mess around and throw things up in the air and throw things on the ground and kick things around and just playing and having fun with no boundaries, no limits, and exercising that part of ourselves that just wants to be free and create something at the same time and find that freedom within creativity. And I believe that now is the time that we try and interact with the world through it and share it with people and bring it closer to us and into our daily life and our ways of thinking and how we perceive the world and our relationships with ourselves and each other. I want to play, I want to be a kid again in that way. I want this to let me feel playful and gleeful, where we can just shred up a bunch of pieces of paper and slap them on something and throw fucking droplets of paint all over and splatter shit.
And also to not think too much about it.
To try and take things that we have around us and to play with them and manipulate them into more beautiful ways of looking at them to us and to share that way of thinking and perspective. And above all, I want it to be fun. I want it to be fun for everybody.
Yeah.
For us, for anybody who dares to listen. I want it to feel free,
Talk to me about your creative journey thus far and how have you felt about it?
Interestingly, I feel both farther along than I have ever been and also at square one. Because the more I learn, the more I feel so overshadowed and intimidated by this understanding that there's so much more to learn, that I want to learn. We're all experiencing that same feeling. Less, more, whatever it is, based on situations, whatever. It's the same feeling of I want to do this, but there's so much to do. There's so much that I want to do, that I can do, that I can't do, that I feel like I should do. And what I want 33 to become is that place where people and ourselves can come and just rid ourselves of that shadow and just say, hey, just do it, have fun with it. Don't even think about anything else other than the fact that this is beautiful to you and that it makes you feel happy and it gives you energy pumping through your blood.
That's exactly what I want for the space for myself. I think that I'm fairly new to even considering myself to be any sort of creative person, but the little that I have done over these past couple of years has felt really powerful to me. Like, I see great promise in it, and I have come to believe in art. I have come to really feel hopeful through art. I mean, for me, I think it's less to do with where other people are at and just the same old story in my life. It's just me feeling like I'm not worthy enough to create things, or it's not good enough, it's not good at all, it looks weird, it's not it. I cannot get past the censor in my head that tells me, like, the thing you were trying to do is not what you did, and therefore you failed here today.
But you have to have something to compare it to. So what are you comparing that process to?
It's near. What's in my head?
But that itself is influenced by what you're watching, what you're seeing, what other people that you like that are creating, or, it's that you do have a standard for yourself,
And it comes up more with things that I do in more of my professional life that are still in the realm of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, yeah, like, I'm more happy to pair myself up to a standard because it's more of a practical issue.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to my personal art, I don't feel it so much. And obviously somewhat I do, but it's not my biggest struggle.
It's more in there.
Yeah. I feel frustrated that I can't replicate what I am feeling or what I am seeing in my head and in various forms of art that I have tried.
Why is it important to you to bring that out of yourself in that form?
My subconscious is something to me that I feel like is so fascinating and beautiful, and I want to be in touch with it. And art felt like a way that I can do that. And when it doesn't match up completely, it's frustrating, it's painful. It's like, I don't have the resources or the skill to make this happen, to bring this to life. But at the same time, dude, I always feel really good after just trying at all, to any capacity, man. Like, one of the greatest feelings for me is flipping through a sketchbook that I've filled completely. And then I see like, okay, maybe each individual photo or each individual ramble isn't what I was experiencing in my head, but all of these together paint a pretty good picture of myself, dude. And I feel proud of that. I feel proud that I took the time to listen to myself and to try to take what I was experiencing and make something out of it and say like, I was there when this happened. See, this is why I was there. And I showed up and I planted my flag down and I said like, this is my mind. And I think that's such a kind thing to do for myself. It makes me feel hopeful, dude. It makes me feel like excited and interested and like a kid. Like, I think when I was a kid, I used to play make-believe a lot, and that was my whole thing. I would write stories, I would enter fantasy worlds.
Hell yeah.
And that was so freeing. It was so beautiful.
You ever have access to a trampoline?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
In our backyard.
Limitless fantasy opportunities on a trampoline as a kid.
Dude, we used to jump off my garage roof onto the trampoline.
We were so dangerous. So, how do you want to translate that desire and that way of connecting with yourself into the Nomads Refuge, and to be able to share that with the world and this place itself?
I want the Nomads Refuge to be a space for me to know that I'm safe to just throw up onto a paper. And to know that like, it doesn't matter if it's good in my head, it doesn't matter if it's good in your head, it doesn't, like, that is not what the purpose of this is. The purpose of this is just to, to flex that muscle and just have fun, dude, and focus on having fun and enjoying this and thinking like, this is what I like doing with my time, like what more is there to it? And I think that the more that I do that, the more that I practice that, it will allow me to then also be more intentional with the art that I want to make in a more structured or in a more serious tone towards a specific subject or topic that I want to explore. I want this space to allow me the freedom to just create, man. Just enjoy it, make art, because expressing yourself is really important. And this is a place that you can do that in. And you don't have to think about anything else. And just be weird and be yourself and make things that you like, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Because at the end of the day, like, why does it matter? It hardly matters if I like it. I think it's just nice to show up for myself.
But that's what matters in the end.
Yeah.
That's what's important about this space. It really is like the effort, it's the trying, it's the actually going out and getting out of bed and actually doing something besides for just going to work or going to study and do your homework or whatever it is.
It's true, man. I feel like art feels rebellious to me. Like every time I make something, it feels like I'm rebelling against just like what is expected from me at this point in my time and my life. I'm showing up and trying it over and over and over because I want this to be a part of my life, even though it's not something that is needed,
You know what's ironic though? When we go and we meet other people, there's no way they don't think, oh, this guy is an artist. They of course see this guy who is working in photography and making these galleries happen and integrating himself into this community of creation and art and positivity. And they see that guy and they see that, You think it's rebellious to call yourself an artist when everyone else around you looks at you and sees artist. That's the irony to me.
Yeah.
And you keep like, I'm not an artist, I'm not. But if your actions define you, right? Your actions define what we believe in and it's at the end of the day, it's what we think and what we say are one thing, and the way that we truly act towards other people and how we project ourselves into this world and into this community specifically, like that, at the end of the day, that is everything.
Now look, what I meant about the rebelliousness, I think, in a more practical sense, it's just that like art to me is continuing a dialogue with my inner child. And it's saying like, remember when you were young that you hated the idea of growing up and becoming like all these other grown-ups around you that seemed to have no spark in their lives, that they were just in this routine, in this loop. And I was always so scared of losing this joy that I felt, dude, this like beauty that I felt, and all the little things that I noticed that made me just feel like I'm living in this magical wonderland. And I was like, I'm never gonna lose this. I can't lose this. I can't lose this. And I lost it for a while. Inevitably so, you lose it because the world is cruel and, you know, it is what it is. But now, every time I show up to try to make a shitty painting, it's like I'm saying, like, I'm not gonna lose this. I'm not gonna lose this. That is a huge part of why I keep showing up. Even if I'm not happy with my results, it doesn't really matter because I'm showing up and I'm labeling this as a work of art. And I think at the end of the day, like, we get to define that, man. Like, there's no such thing for me as good or bad art. There's no such thing as a good or a bad artist. Like, every person gets to define what this act does for them. And for me, showing up and making something that maybe to the world doesn't look aesthetic pleasing or doesn't pay attention to color schemes or to, you know, the rule of thirds, like all these things that make things objectively nice to look at and that people consider to be great works of art. Like, that doesn't matter to me because when I was sitting there, like, there was an inner turmoil being had. There was an inner discussion being had where I felt free in that moment, or I felt joyful in that moment. And that is what art is for me. And no one can take that from me, regardless of what their judgments are on the work that I produce, regardless of even my judgments on that piece of work. And that is the beauty of art. And every tiny little thing that I make, I truly try to give it the respect that it deserves because it changed me, dude. Each piece that I have made, it's changed me. It's done something for me. It's been there for me. And every time I reflect back on that, I see something new. I see something different. It guides my thoughts. Like, that is beautiful. And I deserve to call it that. And we all do. Any of us who want to make something.
And that's what this is for you.
This is for me. It's just a place to just, boo, let loose. Make something and know that it's doing something to me. Something really positive.